Okay, and now you can hear me. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's Naked Truth. I hope we are. There we go. Good. We're live on everything. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me okay. Hi, everybody. I'm laughing that Are We Dead Yet says in chat, my sister has burned water on several occasions, and everyone's laughing. How do you burn water? I also have the same question, so I don't even think I'm a good enough cook to burn water. Happy Saturday, everybody. I'm fresh out of the shower, so if I look super shiny, I got out of the shower, put on my moisturizer, and jumped right here. You put a pot on to boil, then go play an hour or two, wow, and come back to a pan melted onto the stove. Yeah, that's bad. That is not great. Not ideal. So, huge thank you to Jenny, aka Classy Librarian, who suggested in the Discord that I have never done a Naked Truth on cooking, and maybe that would be a fun one since, given this time of lockdown, I have been doing a lot more cooking, but I would say not well. So, whenever I see my friends that are like, oh man, learning to cook in quarantine, check out this incredibly complex thing I made, and I'm like, oh man, I can't even. I mean, a pasta night, which is hard to ruin, I feel like sometimes doesn't even go well for me. Michael King says I'm a pretty good cook. My father's much better. Yeah, so I am not a great cook. Stephen Summers says, Trisha, you're Italian and Pennsylvania Dutch. You can't possibly be a bad cook. Believe you me. So yes, Jenny, thank you so much for suggesting this topic. And yes, Italian food and Pennsylvania Dutch food are some of the best foods you will ever have. And I am Italian and Pennsylvania Dutch. So if I had learned to cook from anyone I'm related to, in theory, I should be a really good cook. But that's the problem. I did not learn to cook from anyone I'm related to. So my mom classifies herself as a mediocre to not very good cook, and I would disagree with that. I think the food that my mom makes is really good. My mom was just a working mom, so she didn't have a ton of time to cook. But when she did have time to cook, it's amazing. And when she does have time to bake, it's amazing. But it didn't always happen to that degree frequently enough for me to be around for it. And even when she did do that kind of stuff in the house, my interests lay elsewhere. So, mom would be like, hey, I'm going to spend all day using a pasta machine to make homemade pasta. And I was like, cool. I'm going to go play World of Warcraft, to throw it back to Are We Dead Yet? Or I'm going to go play a video game. Bye. Or even the type of kid that I was in high school, I'm going to go do my homework because I have a big test coming up. And to me, those things were always prioritized over spending time in the kitchen. Now that I'm an adult and have to, I don't want to say like have to cook for my family, like my husband doesn't cook, but I do a majority of the meal planning in our house, and that's okay. Kerbo Custom says video games ruined your cooking. They might have. I mean, honestly, I just feel like when I was younger, I was a total brat to my mom. And I never really gave her the chance to teach me to cook. Like, she has a really funny story that I remember. She asked me, she was upstairs doing something, and she said, Trisha, can you just start the taco meat, right? It's sitting on the counter. There's a pan there. Just start the taco meat. Start browning it, and I'll come down and finish it up. We were having tacos. So I was like, yeah, no problem. So, like, I take the meat out of the package. I was probably in high school, so 14 or 15 maybe, and I dump like the lump of ground meat into the pan, and I turn it on. And because I had never browned meat before, after about, I don't know, 6 to 7 minutes, I shouted upstairs to my mom, when do I turn it over? And she was like, what do you mean, when do you turn it over? But I didn't know that you have to break the ground meat apart when you brown it in the pan. Like, these are like basic things that people are like, well, duh, that I never really learned. And it was just because I didn't show an interest and I didn't take the time to do it. Kerbo Custom says, you made a big burger. I kind of did. And so once she told me, like, oh, you have to break it apart. Like, I guess in my mind, I thought you would heat it up and it would just kind of break apart on its own because it's ground meat, but that's totally not what happens. Kimiku says, cooking's a skill. Once you start doing it, you'll figure out how to do it better. So that's what I have been doing in quarantine, is working on this skill and trying to get a little bit better at it. When I do make dinners, I'm very, I guess, like old-fashioned Midwestern, where in my mind, to make a full dinner, you have to have like one protein, one starch, and one veggie. So I do a lot of like, last night I made chicken and sweet potatoes and broccoli. Or if I do like a pasta night, I'll add some kind of protein to the pasta, and try to serve it with a salad. So in my mind, that's how I meal plan and that's how I portion. But the things that I make that are like protein, starch, and veggie, I tend to pick things that are easier to make. And I think this is where I fall into like not a great cook. Like I know if you get the freshest ingredients and they're not frozen and, you know, you can get fresh herbs instead of dried herbs and all that kind of stuff and really combine ingredients and flavors, I don't feel confident doing that. So I'll do like I said, like last night, like I made chicken, I made baked sweet potatoes, and I steamed broccoli. And those are like 3 separate things that I did to make a dinner. And it was all right. It was just okay. Jim Jackson, thank you for the super chat, says, my favorite dish is chicken, peppers, onions, potatoes, and hot Italian sausage. Check it out on Food Wishes. Pretty easy. Thank you for the suggestion. Stay strong, be brave, keep safe. Same to you, Jim Jackson, and thank you again for supporting the channel. Stay strong, be brave, keep safe. If anyone does have easy recipes, please go ahead and put them in the Naked Truth channel of the Discord, and I will give them a shot. I had a friend, my friend Sylvia, Sylvia, if you're watching, my friend Sylvia was like, I have an easy recipe for you. And she sent me this super long Twitter DM that involved lots of cooking techniques that I don't know what they are or how to do. And it was like, I feel like a 25-step process. I was like, girl, if that is your idea of easy recipe, we are speaking a very different kitchen language. Like, I want to dirty as few pots and pans as possible so I have as few dishes to do, and I want it to be done fast. Like, oh, Nicholas Ross, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, the first time I ever cooked, I was 7. I made brownies. I put in too much oil, so no matter how long I cooked them, they stayed in puddle form. Oh no, oily brownies. I can make brownies from a mix. I've never tried to make brownies from scratch. Stephanie Littlepage, thank you for the super chat, says, I managed to ruin a chili cheese mac by putting a buttload of habanero in it. Needless to say, my husband and I had to call in sick at work the next day because of cramps and other issues. Oh no! So that's something I feel like I mess up frequently, but the opposite. So I tend to really under-season and use less butter, and it's because I'm thinking like, oh, but I want to make it healthier, so instead of butter, I'll use, you know, a little bit of olive oil or whatever. But I don't coat things in butter, and I don't over-season because my mom was always like, well, if you over-season, then it's ruined. If you season it less, then people can always add more to their taste after it's done. But I think because I don't add enough butter and seasoning, that maybe that's why everyone in my house is always like, meh, when I cook. Like, maybe my stuff just isn't very flavorful, I guess. Or sometimes I follow recipes and I don't have all the ingredients, and I'll try to sub in something else that I think will work. And I think I just don't have the experience to do that, so I'll sub in something that's not great. And then everyone eats it, and it's like, there's too much of, like, this one flavor. I can't tell what it is. And it's always, like, thyme or something like that I'm like, it just said put it in there, so I put it in there. Kerbo Custom says, biggest tip for my girlfriend is to taste as you cook. And I don't do that. I definitely need to do more of that. Maximilian says, under-seasoning is always a safe bet, in my opinion. Over-seasoned food is hard to eat. Kimiko says, new channel idea, Trisha's Kitchen, getting better on kitchen skills. Get your mom in on it. Well, if my mom didn't live on the other side of the country, I would totally do that. So I guess some of the stuff that I have been cooking, I really opt for a lot of frozen things because then they don't go bad. And especially now in quarantine, I don't want to have to make a grocery store run every 2 or every 3 days. I try to stock up for like a 2-week period so that I'm going out and getting as little exposure as possible and exposing everyone else as little as possible. So I opt for a lot of frozen things, and I think that kind of hurts the outcome of my overall meal, maybe. Or I opt for a lot of convenience items. So like I'll get the salads that are pre-mixed in like a Caesar salad kit bag where it's all in the bag. I dump it out. I put all the things in. I mix up the dressing. Good to go. Caesar salad. Or I do a lot of like my starch sometimes for dinner is Mrs. T's pierogies. Dump them out, boil them, good to go. Pierogies are delicious, by the way. Or like for chicken, because I don't really know how to cook chicken super well, I'll buy a bottle marinade and put the bottle marinade in a bag with the chicken in like a Ziploc bag 6 hours before. And then I'll just cook the chicken. I got a meat thermometer. That was a big help. Pro tip, get a meat thermometer. That helps to not overcook your chicken. And see, Hrothgar's Bane says butter is king. I feel like that's my problem. I feel like that's part of it. So I have been cooking a lot more with the crock pot. I made a pork shoulder chili in the crock pot earlier this week that everybody ate and liked. David Powell, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And Maximilian says, I always overcook chicken because I'm scared of undercooked chicken. Right? I totally get that. I totally get that. Do I like fish sticks? Yeah, but I try to do healthy fish, and no matter how good the 5 out of 5 star recipe is that I find online, and I'll like, you know, put the fish in with like lemon and parsley and garlic in parchment paper and then put it in the oven. Again, following the recipe to the T, it comes out of the oven and everyone's like, it's fish. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I got the least fishy tasting fish and made this recipe that has rave reviews, and somehow it's not good. So I don't know. I think I'm just cursed in the kitchen. Like I said, I do a lot of crock pot meals. Some crock pot meals are easier than others. I'm a fan of the crock pot meals where you just dump all the stuff in, put it on 8 hours low, and then when you come back, it's done. Maybe like make a salad or cut up some bread to go with it and like good. But a lot of the crock pot meals that have the better reviews online are like, we got to brown the meat first and like saute the garlic and do all these like 10 steps and dirty all these dishes before you even get it in the crock pot. And I'm like, that is not an easy recipe. It might taste better, but rough. It's hard. Genevieve Bergman says, a dumpling with mashed potatoes inside. Yes, are you explaining what a pierogi is? A lot of people don't know what pierogies are, so thank you for explaining that. But yeah, so I mean, that's where I am on cooking. That's why I've never done a Naked Truth on cooking, because I feel like I'm not a good one to talk about it with. Although, you know what's really been helping me? And let me see if I can show you this. I always have to be careful when I show my phone, or I get nervous, I should say, when I show my phone on Naked Truth, that there's going to be a reflection somehow coming off the screen. But this app, which is not sponsored, this episode is not sponsored. This is the Tasty app. And it doesn't have that many recipes on it, but what I do like about it is it gives you a video. So for someone who's like cooking impaired like me, it shows you exactly what you have to do to make the recipe. So I can be like, oh, okay, that's what that should look like. This is, by the way, this is the chili I made the other day. Like, it shows you what it should look like so that you know that you're doing it right. Which again, for someone like me who has no idea what they're doing, I really appreciate the visual. Connor Waters on Wood says a great cookbook that explains cooking in a more scientific manner is Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. I have heard of that book. And do you recommend that I should read that? Make sure the meat thermometer is digital. My dad for years used to use one of those old-fashioned thermometers, and half the time it wouldn't work properly. The first one I bought was not digital, and it did not work properly. Agreed. Watch Food Network and Cooking Network. James Wisdom said, how big is that pot? That was a crock pot. That's why it was so big. You should try the ninja food. Would you consider getting worse at cooking to audition for Worst Cooks in America? Probably not. Probably not. Oh, you can also watch Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat on Netflix. It's a 4-episode miniseries. There you go. Totally going to do that. Thank you so much for that pro tip. So yeah, my question for you guys is, do you cook? And what is your idea for an easy meal? Like I said, my friend messaged me and was like, here's a really easy one. You're going to love it. And it like involved stuffing a Cornish hen. I was like, girl, not easy. Like, what level of chef are you at that like stuffing a hen is an easy recipe? Say what? So I'm curious what all of your idea of like an easy recipe, if you do cook, is. Andrew Thomas says, no, I don't cook. LOL. Augustus Fritz says, it may not be that you're horrible at cooking. They could just be picky eaters. I guess that's true too. Douglas Sterry says, easy way to make buffalo wings. Put a pat of butter on the wings and drumsticks. Check online how long to cook. Make your own hot sauce, red pepper and tobacco, or Frank's hot sauce. My lips are dry. I just got out of the shower. Rio Pato. That's the whole thing with the Naked Truth. There's no makeup, no hairstyling, no branding in any way. Just us as we are. Just me as I am. Please go drink some water. I know I need to drink some water. I had coffee this morning and that's it. Lobster's easy. Just boil and serve with melted butter. Lobster sounds so tough. Beer-tastic Yogi says easy recipe would be barbecue kielbasa. Cut it up, soak it in barbecue sauce, and throw it on the grill. Okay? I don't do a lot on the grill. Nate does the grill. So like Steven Summers, Nate does have a grill and he makes burgers on it sometimes. Let's see. Hello all. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. I didn't realize it was Canadian Thanksgiving. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving, everybody. That's awesome. Wings. Everybody's saying wings are like the easy one. Ribs are usually pretty easy. Joker Joe, do you cook them on the grill? I did ribs in a crock pot. And they turned out really good. I did them in the crock pot all day, so the meat was like fall off the bone, and then I put it in the broiler for like 3 to 5 minutes after putting some more barbecue sauce on, so it got like sticky, and that was pretty good. This coming Monday is turkey time for Canada. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving, everybody. Steven Summers says, get an air fryer. It's healthy and super dope. You are not the first person I have heard of to endorse the air fryer. I think I might have to do that. Fu says, wings are really easy with an air fryer. Ordering food is pretty easy. He says, I've been doing that a lot. Yes. Crock pots are absolute miracles. Yeah, I like mine. And yeah, I like to find the like one tray dinners where it's like one baking tray. I did one last week where it's one baking tray, fingerling potatoes, carrots, drizzle olive oil, put on like some salt and pepper and garlic, and then like mix it all up so it's all coated, and then put just salt and pepper seasoned chicken drumsticks on top so it's all on one baking sheet, and then put it in the oven, and like that's a dinner. Again, that was just okay though, but it had great reviews online. Are you better at breakfast foods like omelets or pancakes? No! Nate is awesome at breakfast foods, and I cannot compare. His breakfast foods and his grilled cheese are awesome and out of this world. And no matter how many times I try, I thought I was good at breakfast foods until I married Nate. Nate's breakfast foods are way better. His pancakes are like golden brown, like a good even golden brown. Mine are like discolored in spots, and yeah, not great. I can only cook popcorn, says Andrew Thomas. You know what? Not everyone can cook popcorn. Give yourself credit for that. Not grilled cheese for breakfast. His grilled cheese is amazing. Fu says, what's Nate's grilled cheese secret? Apparently it's tons of butter. Which is why his food tastes so much better than mine. But for some reason in my brain, I'm like, oh, that's really bad. I got to keep my family healthy. So back off on the butter, but I guess I shouldn't do that. Maybe that's it. But yeah, if anybody has easy meals, feel free to jump in the Discord and put them in the Naked Truth channel, and I will try them out. In fact, I'm making a recipe tonight that's on, let me see if I can find what the website is that I got it off of. It's going to be the first time I've tried to make this, so wish me luck. It's off Foodie Crush, and it's a baked sausage rigatoni that I'm going to try to make tonight. I generally fare better with Italian food than I do with other foods. Maybe it's because I'm Italian, I don't know. But I generally fare better with Italian foods than other foods. So, fingers crossed that my baked sausage rigatoni goes well tonight. We'll see. Just keep the workouts and butter it up. That's a good idea. Soups and stews are very easy, says Maximilian. My husband says those aren't real meals. Like that's like a side. So I very rarely make a soup or a stew as dinner because of my husband. No, Pennsylvania Dutch women are amazing bakers, and I even have some of my Grandma Hershberger's recipes, but I'm like too scared to try them. Easy meal, tomato soup and grilled cheese. It is, but Nate has to make that because he has superior grilled cheese skills. Nate is mistaken. Pro tip, garlic powder does not equal garlic salt. That is true, Chris Grimm. I agree with that. Um, Tacos. I can do an okay taco night. Again, Nate is from New Mexico, so his version of taco night is very different than my version of taco night coming from Pennsylvania. Tip: replace butter in recipes with low-fat yogurt. Rob K, is that a thing you can do with all recipes or just some recipes? I'm all about replacing. I usually use Greek yogurt to replace for sour cream and stuff, and no one knows the difference. That's a good one. By Creation 2 says, I'm an okay cook, and put one of my recipes in the Discord. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, put those in the Discord. You're amazing. Thank you, everybody. But yeah, I know it's been a while. Sorry, now I'm all self-conscious that like my lips are too chapped. I know it's been a while since I did a Naked Truth because 2 weeks ago when the last one was scheduled, I took some time off because I couldn't keep my head on straight. And I'm happy to report that I'm starting to get to a point where I'm feeling a little bit more caught up with work, which is great. It always ebbs and flows, but I was doing okay enough today to be like, you know what? Let's check in with everybody. Let's do a Naked Truth. I did some of my my volunteer work that I do this morning. I do a lot of local activism and volunteer work in my personal life outside of the things I talk about on social media. And that's kind of been my way to cope with everything that's going on. So I was able to do a lot of volunteer work this morning, which was awesome. And just feeling good. I mean, I know the last Naked Truth that I did was like, oh my God, I'm a total mess and I'm falling apart. And I definitely feel that way at times. And I mean, not much has really changed besides me trying to redirect my energy in different ways. But I did just want to give an update that, the Naked Truth is something that I mean, it's been, how many years of this? It's been like 6 years of the Naked Truth. And I definitely went through times where I was like, this is something really fun that I look forward to, that I do for myself. It's like my therapy, or like my own personal video journal. And then there's times where I'm like, oh, this is a requirement, and I feel like I have to do it, but I'm not really feeling inspired. And then I, took a hiatus for a while and all sorts of different things. But today I felt in the headspace that I wanted to reach out and connect in this format, so I did. And so thank you all for being here. It means a lot to me that I can connect with all of you in this way and that you can connect with each other in this way. And I think that one of the things that is so beautiful about having the internet in this time of lockdown, if you will, or sheltering in place, in this crazy 2020 that we found ourselves in, it is nice that we can connect and be there for each other. And you're right, I bet I can make a mean fruit salad. I bet I can. All right. Connor Waters on Wood says, experimentation in cooking at a young age is what helped me. Maybe bringing kiddos into the kitchen. They can have great ideas and will try anything. Misha Collins has videos with his kids cooking. Oh, I'm definitely going to check that out. Thank you. That's awesome. And see, Genevieve says, I use Greek yogurt to dredge chicken strips or nuggets. It really gives a little sweeter flavor to those. And see, I don't know what dredge means. What does that mean? Anytime that like even like when I read a cookbook and it's like saute, I'm like, what does saute mean? Like, these are things that are just assumed. I think, now, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I think saute means shallow pan, stovetop, little bit of oil, medium heat. I'm guessing. But, like, these are just things that are assumed cooking language that I really don't know. Mitch Thompson says, watch cooking shows, like travel food shows. Okay. Google is a friend. I know. I'm trying to Google James Wisdom. Okay, I got a thumbs up from No Rapper. Sounds good. We need to make you awake your cooking terms. Saute means cook in butter? Hrothgar's Bane? Is that what I've been doing wrong this whole time? That I'm using oil instead of butter? What the what? All right, well, I'm going to binge that Netflix 4-part miniseries that you guys talked about earlier. And I'll see what I can do. Thomas Moffat says a good cookbook will have explanations on the basic terms. My mom bought me the, Rachel Ray Easy 30-Minute Recipes cookbook for working moms, and it did not. It did not. This was the one that I was like, are you kidding me? This was like the easy cookbook, and I remember it's like, saute the potatoes until they're flirting with tenderness. And I'm like, okay, WTF, Rachel Ray? What does that mean? Saute the potatoes until they're flirting with tenderness? Are you freaking kidding me? A, didn't know what saute was. B, What is flirting with tenderness? Yeah, too much. But that's what I feel like cookbooks feel like. Steven Summer says Rachel Ray is not easy. WTF. Okay, great. James Wisdom says me and cooking. I know, me too. Me too. Flirting tenderly. You know what? I bet I could try flirting tenderly with my husband and he'd say I'm okay at it. So funny. I learned so much from America's Test Kitchen. Okay, it seems like I have some homework to do, but I did want to thank Jenny for being awesome and suggesting this topic because this has been really fun and lighthearted in a time when I feel like not a lot of stuff is. I think I'm feeling better now that I have voted. I did my whole ballot and it's sealed, and Nate and I are going to make a thing this weekend of going to a ballot drop-off box and dropping it off. But that makes me feel good, and for whatever reason that, you know, I feel like I've done my part. So with that said, I'm going to end this on a, if you live in the United States, please go vote. Please, it's your civic duty. Do your thing. And no matter where we end up after this next election, if way more people vote than did in the last election, at least we will have the peace of mind of knowing this is what our country wanted, instead of this is what a minority of our country wanted and now everyone's being forced to play along. So please, please vote. I would not presume to tell people how to vote. I'm sure those of you who followed me for a long time have a pretty good idea of how I'm voting. But I would not presume to tell anybody how to vote. That is your right. Please research. Please, you know, do what you're going to do, but make sure that your voice is counted, whatever you feel strongly about, and not just in terms of kind of the high level elections that get a lot of press and publicity, but the local elections too. You can make a huge difference in your local policy that affects you and the people around you every single day. So those votes super matter. And I also feel like, at least before me as a voter, I didn't really vote for the local stuff because I didn't know enough about that stuff. But that's where you can really make a world of difference and impact people's lives. So research those. There's a lot of great, speaking of Google, there are a lot of great resources out there where you can research different local candidates and different local issues so that you can make your best educated decision. Yay! Okay, so thank you, everybody. You are awesome. Maximilian says Texas early voting starts October 18th. What? Douglas Sterry says, mailed my ballot on September 2nd, voted, got it in August, voted. Yay, voting. Voting is awesome. Do it when you can. Local's way more important to your day-to-day, says Beertastic Yogi, and that's true. Okay, so that was my little PSA. I will have more videos going up on this channel that are in the tech and gaming sphere coming soon, so keep an eye out for those. And the next time I will be live is tomorrow playing some Baldur's Gate 3 on my Twitch channel. So that'll be at 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. Sunday morning stream time. Pay attention to the Discord. You'll know when I'm going live. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. As always, I appreciate you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and vote. Do your part. Okay. Bye, everybody.